Ask G, day 16, and today I'm going to do something slightly different, something that you don't see in most instructional videos, and that is I'm going to try and talk to you specifically, or at least try and identify or give you a thought process to identify yourself as an individual and the things that you need to be aware of going forwards. Obviously we work off of a coaching manual, and the coaching manual is very one-dimensional, and video instruction, when you're searching online, is very one-dimensional. We tend to say the same type of things. But one of the things I do when I'm working with an individual at the golf club in a one-on-one golf lesson is I'll ask a series of questions. How old are you? Do you play other sport? Which is a significant question to ask. Have you had any injuries or any major operations on your body? Which is very important as well. Are you naturally right-handed? What do you do for a living? I'll tell you about a little bit more about why I asked that question tomorrow. But for example, often the replies will be, well, I played a lot of tennis and I hurt my right hip and I had a hip operation or a hip replacement, or I played a lot of football and I had a cartilage operation whatever number of years ago. Those are limiting factors and mean that I can't necessarily teach that same person exactly the same as I would teach a perfect specimen if there's one that exists. So consequently, for example, if I work with somebody who's had a knee operation or a hip replacement, I wouldn't work on a standard width of stance. We talk about standard width should be such that your feet are the same width apart as your shoulders. Well, for somebody who's had the hip replacement or the knee operation, the lower half will be static. It won't move as athletically as somebody who's, let's say, more athletic. So what I would do is I would ask you to stand with your feet closer together than shoulder width, and that would free up a little bit more movement in your lower half so that your lower half can respond in the golf swing. So a lot of the time it's about actually adapting to you, and your starting point is to understand you and the things that you need to do. So straight away, the first thing I'm going to say is that if you are one of those people who has had those operations, it may be that you've had lower back in particular is another thing, people that suffer with sciatica. Just simply play, make a few swings in your back garden, perhaps when you're striking that mat, with your feet a little bit closer together. Remember that you're still working on good balance as well, because one of the downsides of a narrower stance usually is that it gives you less balance or less control of the end of your golf swing. So that's something that you have to work on, and that's something that you have to adapt. But your lower half will work much better for you. And there's just one example of one of the reasons why you've really got to focus on yourself as an individual and understand yourself as an individual going forwards. There's lesson 16, and tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about that and go into 17. Thank you very much.